they're smart, even if they don't turn in the assignments right. The golds are her pets. They're her pride and joy. They follow the rules. They sit in their seat. They don't talk when they're not supposed to. They turn their homework in. Even if they're not smart, if they're well behaved, their behavior grades are going to push them through. But the oranges have no way out. So they are sent to the principal's office. They are sat out in the hall. They're the ones punished. They get the labels until they get to the point where it's no use to try.
Amen.
So your oranges drop out and they hit the streets. And they have no one to validate them and tell them you're worth something. And they know, many times oranges are highly intelligent, but they have no place to put that, and they have no way to give that back to the public because it's a gold system. And they don't know how to fit into a gold box. So you get gold parents and green parents and blue parents who have an orange child, and they don't know what to do with them. Oranges need challenges. They need to understand that there are boundaries, but their boundaries need to be much wider. They need to be, if they're a showboat, they need to be given the chance to put on the show in class. They will be good if they know they can put on a show in a little while. They'll contain themselves. They'll cause themselves to quiet down if they know they can be the star in just a few minutes. If they're wanting to do all the crazy stuff, give them an outlet for that. All you have, as long as they are being validated, their talents, their bravery, their risk-taking, as long as they have an outlet, it's a lot easier for them to back up in the areas that are wrong. But you have to meet them on their level. Our school systems in America, and I understand where I taught. I understand the need for order in the classroom. I understand that. But I also see what it's doing to the orange children. And our oranges are our Thomas Edisons. They're our inventors. They're our astronauts. They're the people who dare go do something that's never been done before. They're your risk takers. But what they're being killed in school. And so they're filling up the prisons because they've got to have an outlet. Pentecostalism is extremely attractive to orange people because of the high energy and the emotionalism. But look who it's shutting down. It's shutting down your greens almost totally. And it's turning your golds off. Your blues are going to stand there and cry. So they're into the service. And I don't mean that in a bad way at all. I'm just saying we're talking about what the different colors do. So it's Pentecostals have a prime opportunity to reach oranges. We also have an obligation for all the other three colors as well. But we have a prime opportunity to reach oranges. Oranges are going to drop out of a traditional church that is liturgical and methodical and has no feeling. They're going to drop out of that church. So here we are. We're waiting on them. We're going to celebrate them. But at the same time, you can't forget about your golds, your greens, and your blues. Now, next right here, here are two facts I want you to know. I'm good. Okay. Introverts and extroverts. Introverts are not people who don't talk, and extroverts are not people who talk a lot. I am an introvert. What that means is, and we can go to our next thing there, I, next, require time alone to replenish my energy. That's what introvert means. Extrovert, next, they are one who replenishes their energy with people. So, there can be both introverts and extroverts in extra colors, in every color. So you can't judge what a person is by whether they're quiet or not, or talkative. You can't judge it really by that. You can pretty much tell in your greens to be quiet. But the other three colors, you're going to have verbal people in all colors and nonverbal people in all colors. Okay, so that's a little fact about introverts and extroverts there. Okay, now here is what. Now go real slow on this one because I don't want it to get ahead of it. Here is what you've got to understand. This runs true, Especially, I've done this in secular groups as well, and this definitely runs true in secular groups. The church is a little skewed sometimes on this, but you can walk down the street and you can bank on it. This is going to be the percentage in the population that you're meeting on the street. Okay, the first one, we have golds. They are our list people. They're our guardian of rules, right? How much of the population do you think is a gold? Okay. 45 to 50% of the population. They're our largest group. Half of the population is gold. Okay, next. Orange. What do you think? Okay. 35 to 40.
Wow.
So here we are. Here's the majority of your population right here. All right? Next, greens. Go ahead. 5 to 7% of the population is green. The last one is blues. The blue. And 8 to 10% of the population is blue. So visitors who walk through your doors, 45 to 50% of them are going to be your gold, list, order, agenda people. 35 to 40% are going to be your risk taker, showboat, showtime, oranges. 5 to 7% are going to be your factual, non-emotional greens. And 8 to 10% are going to be your emotional, feeling, people blues. So, sit there and absorb that just a few minutes, and then Terry will take questions and you can tell me, because I know I'm over time.
Yeah, go ahead. Take questions here and get what they're thinking about, work this out.
Okay.
It's too good.
Yeah. Do you see how this can change the way you perceive a lot of things? Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna go to Kim first because he's.
Is it a mic? Yeah. Can you put that mic so we can hear?
Turn up.
I'm just going back to in the beginning, that, for example, are people on the outside the orange because they have revolted against a society of gold? Or are the people gold? You said there's 45 to 50%, but are they gold because they came through the educational system?
No, because you're going to be able to tell that by how they respond to stress. And this test has a level of stress to it when you're taking it. Some, maybe a little bit of the information might be a learned thing, but whenever you're actually taking the test, we go really heavy on that, and we give examples of, for example, this question in the test. Don't give the answer that you think is the acceptable answer. Give what's inside your gut, and we really stress that while they're taking the test. Nobody's going to see your answers. This is your book. Nobody's going to see what you say here. So it's pretty true to form. Your oranges, especially in the environment of taking the test, because they are given freedom to act out, and you can tell which ones are the true oranges because they take it and they go with it and they don't care what anybody's saying. And there's many times I have people that are in the orange group that will get up and leave and go to the gold group. It's like, this is not me. They thought it was them, but it's not me. Because I tell people, if you're in a group and the gold, a true gold is going to drive an orange crazy, because everything has to be in order. Everything has to be organized. Everything has to be, I know, but you love each other. And I'm not discounting. It's what's walking through your doors. And if they're not coming back, chances are it's because the method of communication hit a wall. Chances are. Are there populations that are primarily one way or the other? I do think that this is an American thing. I think that certain populations lend themselves more to certain communication styles. For example, Filipinos. I feel more blue from a Filipino congregation than 8 to 10%. Their innate spiritual awareness, their gentleness. Okay, from the Asian, from Japanese, Chinese, Singapore, we've done this in Singapore, from those populations, I feel more of a gold, green bent, and I feel like that is probably more, higher in those populations. In African populations, they are the more risk takers. Africans are going to be more in the orange area. But as far as America, with our melting pot, this is true. This is true.
Let me ask others questions.
Who?
I can speak really good.
So I always thought my husband was a introvert, but looking at that, he's a lot more comfortable in family scenarios and in church. So he'll speak here, but when he meets somebody, it's just, hello, how are you? Everything okay? Okay, that's it, you know? No. So I'm just wondering if he is an extrovert, because he does gain his energy from being here and with family, but I thought I was an extrovert, that I need my quiet time.
Yeah.
Am I the introvert? I mean, I always thought I was people.
I mean, you know, only you would know. Only you would know. Let me tell you, after a weekend of being with people, after this trip, we go to Connecticut tomorrow afternoon, get home Wednesday night late, leave early Thursday morning for Kentucky, won't get home till Saturday night late. Okay, so when I get home next Saturday night late, oh my Lord. No, I will have to go in my room, light my candle, play my mood music, and read the Bible, and perhaps another book about a biography or something, just to get my mind. Okay, so but after a weekend like this, he's energized. He's ready to go. So therefore, you need to understand when you've had a time like something like this, and then you'll have church tomorrow, some of you are going to want to go home and be quiet. Some of you are going to want to go out with people and eat. And if you're married and one wants to do one and one wants to do the other, that's when you have to work out a compromise. And one, you go out this week, you don't go out next week, or whatever, or this one goes out, this one goes home. I mean, you have to work out the compromise. You have to learn. Okay? Next. Sam, what was your question?
I wanted to give other people a chance.
Okay.
Through the lesson, I figured out that I am a green. How do a green deal with a gold?
You know what? Usually there's not that much conflict between greens and golds, because greens will say, oh, okay, if you want it in order, I'll put it in order. It's all right. You know, they're cool with it. Greens just want their information. They want their knowledge. They only get emotion and a shutdown of knowledge is what will irritate a green. Lists want things in order. It's not a requirement for them, but they'll do it if they need to do it. Greens have a problem with Pentecostalism. That's why Greens need home Bible studies, one-on-one with the facts, showing them the scriptures. Some people can come in church and feel God and be converted. But Greens need the facts through the scriptures.
Yes.
Sam, next your question.
I was going to ask what populations this has been administered on, where these numbers come from. Because if you do it in America with people who have been educational system, you're skewing your numbers.
Actually, it was written for the prison system in Texas. And my instructor, 15, 20 years ago, whenever I did it, was part of the prison system in Texas. And that they got a lot of their numbers from there. But whenever I got certified, it was being put into the education system in Wisconsin. And I actually went to Wisconsin. Now it's gone all over the place. And what we have found in the marriage retreats, now, like I did it for the Nurse Practitioner Association of Louisiana, and it was blue and gold. Blue and gold. Very few orange, no greens. And we had like 60 people. So that was skewed. But when we do marriage seminars, every time we've ever done it in a marriage seminar, the percentage of the room is extremely close to that. Because that is a situation where you're getting people, a lot of them, their spouses don't even attend church, but they'll come to a marriage retreat. And so we've done those all over the place. And they're always very close to that. That gives the truest reading. So that's what has let me know that this is right on. The company, Real Colors, is the one who compiled the statistics. So I'm not sure exactly where they got all that, but I do know that when we do marriage retreats, now if I do a particular profession, or if I do students, all that kind of thing, you're going to have more of one than the other, and it's not going to line up to this. But when we do a mixed congregation where everybody is not a churchgoer, it lines up with that. Yes, Bradley.
Has this been tested on people who suffer from mental conditions like autism?
Not that I know of, but I don't know the answer.
I just say that because I suffer from a similar condition, and I fit strongly under all four of these.
Really?
Yes.
That is interesting.
It just depends on the day, depends on the situations. I fit under every single one. It's very strong.
That is very interesting, and that's a question I will ask. We have every now and then we have refresher seminars, webcasts, and where we can ask questions online, and I'll ask that. I'll write that down. That's a good question. Back in the back.
Just wanted to know how this falls into the fivefold ministry. Is there a better one that fits one, or?
Very good question. I don't think so. I do believe, though, Raymond Woodward and I have talked about this part. I believe all four Gospels are all four colors. If you read the Gospels, you will see that they all approach the life of Jesus in a different way. So what do you think Matthew is? What was his profession? He was a tax collector. He's gold. Very factual. Mark. He is the least educated. The book is written in the least polished way. It tells a lot of stories. Mark was orange. Luke, he was a physician, and he gives a lot of facts. Green. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. John was the one who loved Jesus, laid his head on his chest. Blue. You read the book of John to get the love of God. So you look at the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Let's go through here, and I'm gonna do this, and then if we want to take more questions, we can. But let me get to the end real quick. Go. I'm gonna skip all this story. Go. All right. It's not about me. Okay. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth, wherever it wants it to go. Even so the tongue is a little member, and it boasts great things. Behold, how great a matter this little member, this little fire, can kindle. The tongue is a fire. It's a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members. It defiles our whole body because we don't understand each other. and it setteth on fire the course of nature. It incites anger. It's set on fire of hell. Hell uses our tongue when we don't understand. For every kind of beast and of birds and of serpents and of things in the sea is tamed and has been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It's an unruly evil full of deadly poison. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear and try to decide what color the person you are communicating with is. Be slow to speak so that you don't abort the plan that God's trying to do in their life. And be slow to wrath.
Be slow to wrath.
Now, next, go on. Eric's telling us. All of them. God himself had to have been green to have figured out this universe. He had to have been blue, or he had to have been gold, to get all of the constellations and the planets and everything aligned in the order of the world. He had to have been orange to have the imagination to think up mountains and trees and daisies and roses and zebras and me and you. But then he had to have been blue because he came and he loved us so much that he died and he said, I'll take your sin. So if Jesus was all of those, what color should we be? All of them. So the goal is not to leave knowing what you are. The goal is to leave saying, whatever I am, I have to be able to meet you and approach you as you. And I've got to approach you, figure out what you are, and talk to you as you, and you is you, because it's not about me. It's about you. Does this make sense?
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's all I have.
Could we just ask people to stand?
Yes, thank you. I forgot about that. Let's start with the golds. How many of you think you're a true gold?
Top color, gold.
Top color is gold.
Everybody's a little bit everything.
3 of you. Very good. 4? 4. Okay. Top color is green.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay? Very good. Sister Staten says her second is green. Okay. Top color blue. Right? Top color orange. Very good. Very good.
Jody was our least problem child. I don't know.
What do you think I am?
Dominant color? Your dominant color? Gold.
He says gold. How many of you agree with him that my dominant color is gold?
No.
Orange.
Green? You don't put me on. That's the best compliment I could give because my dominant color is orange.
Wow.
And so I've worked extremely hard. Green is, I was 17 in green.
I was 12.
Orange was like 40. Gold was like 38. Then my blue was 24, I believe, and green was 17. And so whenever I knew blue and green was that low, I have worked extremely hard to bring my blue-green awareness up so that I could learn how, because I did not communicate well with blues and greens at all. So that was, thank you. Any other question? Yes. Okay.
My question was about spouses. What if you're like almost the same, or you get both very strong in a certain one? Is that helpful, or what?
It combination, it's usually helpful. He is gold, orange, I am orange gold, and that's perfect. I mean, we really do hop in and out of those colors as we need to, and both of our blue and green is lower, and so we spur each other to bring our blue and our green up higher. But if you're similar to your spouse, that's a good thing. Where you're gonna have trouble is if you have a child who's another color. Because then it's like, well, if you have two gold parents and you have any color child, orange, green, or blue, it's gonna be a challenge, and you can kill the child because you think your way is the only way or whatever. But normally you don't find spouses that are alike because opposites do attract. Because you know your weakness intrinsically, and so whenever you are looking at someone, you are usually drawn to them because they're stronger in your weak areas. And so what that does is it usually opposites do attract. Usually. Thank you. Y'all were a great audience.
Okay, how about everybody standing, stretching a little bit, maybe pat the back of the